The Bell of Blackchurch Abbey, a Gothic horror story set in Yorkshire, England, in the far reaches of the Yorkshire moors, where the wind howls like forgotten voices and the mist clings to the earth like cobwebs, stands the ruin of Blackchurch Abbey. It was built in 1247 and abandoned in the early 1700s, after a fire claimed the lives of 13 monks. Since then, locals have avoided the area. Farmers whispered that even the crows won't land there. The ground is cursed, they say, salted with the blood of betrayal. But legends are just stories, aren't they? Chapter 1. The Restoration Inn. The summer of 1996, Margot Hensley, a graduate student in historical architecture, was granted permission by the National Trust to document and sketch the ruins of Blackchurch Abbey for her thesis. She arrived alone, renting a stone cottage nearby, and walked into the abbey each morning with her sketchbook and recorder. The ruins stood tall, shadowy, and solemn. Moss-covered stones, half-buried tombs, and a crumbling bell tower that still reached into the misty sky like a broken tooth. Oddly, there was no record of a bell ever being installed. Yet Margot swore she heard one tolling dot always at dusk. Chapter 2. The tolling. On the fourth evening, while Margot packed her sketches, the bell tolled again. She froze. It was deep, metallic, and slow, as though time itself paused to listen. There was no one else for miles. The toll came again. Then silence. She climbed the unstable steps of the bell tower with her torch trembling in her hands. The stone stairwell was tight, the air growing colder as she ascended. At the top, where the roof had partially collapsed, there was no bell, just a rusted iron hook swaying ever so slightly, as if something invisible had just been cut down. That night, back in her cottage, she listened to her audio recorder. The bell was there, clear as thunder, but underneath it was whispering. She couldn't make out the words. Chapter 3. Brother Aldwin, digging through local archives. Margot found mention of a monk named Brother Aldwin. In 1666, he was accused of heresy, witchcraft, and secret rites conducted beneath the abbey. He was burned alive in the refectory when the fire mysteriously consumed the building. It was said he rang the bell as he died, cursing the others. But no bell was found in the ashes. It was never rebuilt. Some say Aldwin never left, that he watches from the shadows, waiting for someone to finish the ritual he started. Chapter 4. The crypt beneath. On her 7th day at the site, Margot discovered a sealed trapdoor behind the collapsed altar. She had to pry the iron hinges open with a crowbar. A foul stench rose from the darkness. She descended into a hidden crypt with walls lined by bone and rusted cages, instruments of penance. In the center stood a stone basin filled with what looked like dried blood, carved above it. Per me, campana resonabit, aeternu. Through me, the bell shall toll forever. Suddenly, her recorder turned on by itself and began playing the whispers. This time, the voice was clearer. It was chanting in Latin, calling upon some forgotten saint, or something that predated saints. She fled, but the bell tolled again. Chapter 5. Possession. From that night on, Margot changed. She stopped going into town. Her journal entries became erratic, written in symbols that didn't match any known language. Locals claimed they saw a figure wandering the moors at night, barefoot and muttering, not in English, but something guttural and ancient. Cattle were found dead in strange patterns. Dogs refused to walk near the abbey. Margot was last seen on October 31st, All Hallows Eve. A farmer passing near the abbey swore he saw her climbing the bell tower, robe-clad and barefoot, her eyes glowing like coal. He said she was smiling. Then, the bell rang 13 times and stopped forever. Epilogue. 13 years later, in 2009, hikers discovered a leather-bound journal half buried in the soil outside the abbey. Inside were Margot's sketches, except they had changed. The abbey was drawn intact, but wrong. The architecture was twisted. Monks with hollow faces stood in rows, bleeding from their eyes. And at the center was a great bell, black as obsidian, hanging from a chain of vertebrae. The final page read only, "He tolls for the living now. If you ever find yourself on the Yorkshire moors, near the ruins of Blackchurch Abbey, Listen closely at dusk. If you hear the bell toll, do not look back, do not answer, and never follow the sound, because some stories in England aren't legends. They're warnings. Asterisk, asterisk. Please follow and subscribe for more videos. Thank you.